So in part 2, I'd like to show you what you actually get as tools when you're presenting your NearPod presentation to the students. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the teacher on one computer screen here. I'm going to use a different computer, which you can't see, to be entering results and data as a student. So you'll be able to see what you get in real time and what it looks like as you run a lesson. So I'll just get the other screen set up. To present to students, you click on Live Lesson. One of the cool features that does come with the Gold Edition, which I said was about $120 a year, is you can click on Student Paced and set it as homework or set it as something you want the students to go through at their own pace. But I think Live Lesson is a fantastic one, so I always just go with that, and it's free, which is great. So I click on Live Lesson, and then it comes up with the code the students are going to use. That's the code they need to enter on the website nearpod.com. Again, some cool features. You can share it in the Google Classroom straight up. You can send them a link. So on my other computer, I'm just going to enter that code and you'll see what it looks like. Okay, so now I've got my lesson ready to get started. At the moment, I have 0 participants. You'll see that as I enter from this other device, we're going to go through this lesson with just 1 participant. There I am, and you can see when they're active and ready to get started. You can also remove students if you feel like you need to. You can track where you're up to. This is the second slide of 29, and I'll show you. Let's get started. So as I said, you're directing students through at your own pace. You're clicking next when you're ready. You're talking to this presentation. They have it on their screens. So no such thing as the front or the back of the classroom. Everybody's front and center seeing your slides as you go through. So I'll go through quickly just to show you. Now, this has come up with a poll asking them if they know the difference between editing and revising. And as I answer on my other computer and I submit that, you'll be able to see that in real time, the data comes in. And so if you had lots of students, you'd be able to see the ones who do, who don't understand, and you get that information right there. Now, if you wanted to go a little further, let's say a lot of students have said no, you can go to Add Activity, and at any point during your presentation, you can ask them an open-ended question that everyone has to respond to, or you can share a website with them at any point. So that really gives you the flexibility to, if you figured out, oh, hang on a second, they're not understanding and I'm not sure why, you ask the question and you share it, and everybody has to answer that question on their screens. No one can skip it or avoid it. Now I can move through this a little faster. So this one is a quiz, and you'll be able to see it as I answer it. I'll just quickly check on. So you'll start to get this data coming through. And so if I answered it incorrectly, it would come up as red. If I answer it correctly, it comes up as green. So you, again, get that formative data straight away of who's understanding and who needs help. Okay. I'll just go through. You can skip things if you want to. This one is a drawing. So as I draw on my other screen, oh, this is terrible. I'm trying to do it with a mouse. You'll see the drawing come up here. And each of the students participating, you'll see what they have on their screen. Now, another really cool feature, which I think is absolutely phenomenal, you are able to share student responses with the whole class at the same time. So let's say a student did a fantastic job. Maybe it was a written response and they've typed up something incredible, or they've had a great idea. If you click on their response and click on share, that then goes to the screen of every student who is part of your lesson. So you're able to have it on their screen and talk through why that was such a good response before you move on. So I think that's just an awesome thing to be able to do, to be able to point out the features of phenomenal responses. So if I say unshare, the students don't have it anymore and I can close it, And again, I can move on. Now, I won't keep going through it because you get the idea. This is what it looks like for you. You saw what it looked like in another video for the students. I can exit that at any time. I can resume it later. The last thing I wanted to show you is the reports. And in the reports, that's where you're going to get all the data from the lessons that you've run. Now, this is one, I'll pick one that I've actually run before. I've run this one quite a few times with different groups. This one here had 16 students in the group, and it creates a report for you of how they went in the quiz, or everything. So as you click through at the top, the quiz, the poll, you can have a look at all their responses. The drawing, like I said, you can have a look at all the things that they did. So you have that data, just permanently have that data, and I use an open-ended response just to show them how that worked. So another thing, you can download that, you can share that. So another great tool. The next video is going to talk through how to use the library, because there are some awesome things that are pre-made.